What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Pretty Girl Progression Podcast. If you are new here, welcome. I hope you stay. And if you've been here before, welcome back. As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And y'all, we have been manifesting Lafette Rosé to be our official sponsor, and they are Pretty Girl Progression's official sponsor. Y'all, not only is this a Black-owned business, I truly love Lafette. I gift it to my friends. I pull up to parties and I have it in my gift bag. So I'm going to have the link in the description for you guys to grab your own Lafette. And let me just take a drink to that, okay? Okay, so you guys, and the gifts keep on coming. So as always, because I love y'all so much, I have worked on a free ebook, 10 Steps to Personal Development. And I'm talking about everything from doing your mirror work, personal work, nature, all things that has really helped me become the woman that I am today. And I have gifted you guys a free ebook. So make sure you go to www.prettygirlprogression.com and grab yours today. Now, as always, my favorite part is the PGP word of the day. I want us to start pulling out our journal or our notebook to write down our Pretty Girl Progression word of the day. And if you don't have one, I have created a Pretty Girl Progression journal, and I love it so much, y'all. So I have a message inside, Rich Rising, for all of my pretty girls. And then also a message in the back if you don't know what Pretty Girl Progression is. And I just love it. It's so cute. And I've been having journals since I was 7 years old. So, y'all, I have everything in my journals. So, trust me, I look back on them and I always think like, wow, look how far I've come. And this is what I was thinking about back then. Like, so grab your Pretty Girl Progression journal or grab a journal and let's talk about the word of the day. PGP word of the day is helper. So helper, a person who can be relied on to give you great deal of support or comfort. It ties into everything that we're going to talk about, which is destiny helpers. So what is a destiny helper? Now, you don't know your destiny until you know your purpose. Let me say that again. You don't know your destiny until you know your purpose. So destiny helpers to me is someone who's sent on assignment to help you fulfill your goals and your dreams, right? And sometimes we go through life thinking, oh, that's cool that this person helped me. Oh, that's kind of cool that, this happened to me. But I believe destiny helpers, God kind of sprinkles them on us just to get us to the next step. So I just want to talk about briefly a few things that I realized looking back on what my destiny helpers were. Now, when God told me to build Pretty Girl Progression, a community, he didn't say, oh, it's called Pretty Girl Progression, right? So I had to figure out, okay, what do I want to name this community? And I remember sitting in my condo at the time thinking, with my girls and thinking what should we name Pretty Girl Progression before it was Pretty Girl Progression? We were talking about Pretty Girl Problems, Pretty Girl Solutions, and we kind of just tabled the conversation because it was just a lot. So at the time, my boyfriend came and he said, what about progression? You're trying to move forward, right? And I'm like, that's it. Pretty Girl Progression. And shout out to him for that because honestly, looking back, that was one of my destiny helpers. And then I had to figure out, what do I want my logo to be? Now, y'all, I do not know how to draw. I know how to make a mean stick figure, but I do not know how to draw. And I was talking to a friend of mine at the time, and I said, okay, I know I want it to be a powerful woman, like a strong woman, a strong Black woman at that. And I want it to have a crown. If y'all look back, my old logo was, I ain't gonna hold you. It just was not it did not embody a strong Black woman. So it was kind of cool to look back and see how much my logo has progressed. And if it wasn't for my friend at the time putting my vision on paper, I would not have the logo that I have today. It's beautiful. And this has even been updated. So that's a whole nother thing. Then we have the podcast. I have to give a huge shout out to my producer, Wes the Tech, for helping me not only learn how to stand on business when it comes to this podcast, because it is a business, but learn how to have steps, have structure, have a game plan when it comes to getting my message out. Because if you're anything like me, I'll be all over the place. I might be talking about this, and then next thing I'm talking about a whole nother thing. And to have like that structure, he is my destiny helper. So building this podcast is not easy, because I never thought in a million years that I would have a podcast, let alone sharing my personal woes to the world. So thank you, Wes the Tech, for literally being my destiny helper. Now, I did have a podcast prior to the Pretty Girl Progression podcast. Well, I did attempt to have my Pretty Girl Progression podcast, but again, I was doing it by myself, and that was a whole nother story. But quick story time. I remember sitting in my living room and talking to God and saying, okay, I want to build a podcast. I want to just have help, more resources when it came to like building Pretty Girl Progression, because I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that this was the assignment that God had me on, and I was just supposed to build it brick by brick, right? So I had an ex-coworker of mine call me up and say, hey, what do you think about us building a podcast together? Now, whoa, first of all, God, that was quick. And second of all, okay, well, what do you want it to be about? Because I wanted to make sure that we were aligned, right? And after that conversation, I said, yeah, I'm all about it. I thought I was going to be a part of that team until the wheels fell off. But it brings me to my next point, that sometimes these destiny helpers aren't permanent. Sometimes they're just for a season. And I really wanted it to work and grow, but if it wasn't for my previous podcast, I wouldn't have learned as much as I've learned now for the Pretty Girl Progression podcast. And sometimes you don't know that they're destiny helpers until it's all over. I didn't know that having the Pretty Girl Progression name through my ex was a destiny helper until it was over. I didn't realize, my old podcast would be what it was until it was over. So again, sometimes you just don't know until it's over. But pay attention to the signs, pay attention to the clues, and know that God is sending people to you to help you along the way. Okay? And it's okay. It's okay sometimes if you fumble and you didn't realize it at the time, because I'm sure you would have handled it differently. But everything happens for a reason. Okay? So as always, pretty girls, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And tell a friend to tell a friend. Moving forward, grab your journals and let's just continue to grow and progress together. And in the comment sections, let me know. Tell me a little bit about your destiny helpers. Tell me about the stories that you have where you realize that you had destiny helpers along the way, whether you fumbled them or not. Put it in the comments below. So until next time, love you.